Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for returning to another episode of Chief Artisan Thursday. And this time in the studio with me,
This is Marty Moran.
hey, Marty.
Hey, Nicole, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for allowing us this time to interview you and get to know you better as a small business owner. But why don't you let TOC Town and Team One Blogosphere know about you and your small business?
Well, I own actually two small businesses, but the main one that we started with several years ago was Bello Romance Photography, pronounced Bello, and it's spelled Bello. And we are a romantic wedding photography company mostly, but we do romance style photography. And our second company we just launched this past January was Avorio, Avorio, Avorio Personal Photography. And Avorio means ivory, and there's a purity about that, but this is more geared toward personal portraiture and things like that. But the reason why we started Bello Romance Photography was because I'm a natural born romantic. And interestingly enough, I'm married to a non romantic wife, but the romantic heart in me never gives up and has endeavored to get to know how to touch the romantic heart of my wife in some ways. And that has helped me to reach out to my brides and find out what's important to them. And there's always a place where romance is touched, if I can say it that way. So that's part of the reason why when I started my business, I had to niche into what I know about me. People don't really hire me as just a photographer, they hire me as the person because they want that romantic feel, which I'm very good at. So that's the essence of what we've started to do here.
Marty and I are going to be working together in the fall for a new photo shoot that we want to do for small business owners. So, Marty, touch upon the second business that you talked about also, and then we'll loop back around to let the viewers know personally more about you and your personal side of you.
Okay, well, the second company was Avorio Personal Photography, and my associate, Emily Brockle, she is such a visionary type person, and she's got a lot together in her life. And she's one who I started mentoring maybe the first year, and I don't believe I do much mentoring of her now. She's been with me 3.5 years now. I believe that this one is geared toward personal portraiture. It could be senior photography, families, maybe even babies and maternity. But mainly, it's more about marketing styles, and her big thing is that she wants to help a person design their look for their portraits, for business and things like this. So that's been where her strengths are at, and she's very good about design and graphics and things like this. And I am very, very, very blessed to have her on my team, and I know God sent her to me.
Awesome. Now, one thing I ask of all my small business owners is even though we don't label Mondays as, humdrum because nothing about our lifestyle is that, it has its highs and its lows, but give us a picture of what motivates you on that fresh Monday morning to get up and going and out the door.
Well, first thing on Mondays, unless I have an appointment, I don't get up and go out the door other than through social media, basically. So on Monday mornings when I get up, um, I will typically work on a blog. And I like to write blogs about romance and marriage. And sometimes I throw in weddings in there too. But on Mondays is a work day where I try to get paperwork done. I get my marching orders for the week. I find out what Emily is doing. We plan out and map out our week. Um, but we do email campaigns where we touch base with our client base, our database, and make sure that um, we at least send out information so people know that we're out there. So that's basically what Mondays are about. And so I'm pretty motivated like any day. I don't know that, some people like Mondays or say, I hate Mondays. I am one who loves every day. I don't look at Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday as hump day. Every day is a day where I'm going to accomplish something. So for those who talk about Mondays and they got the Monday blahs, I don't really have those. I get started with work, and by Friday, I hope to have my calendar full.
One
Hopefully by Tuesday, I've got my calendar full.
I know the feeling. One thing that you did trigger, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, is that you said you receive your marching orders. Why don't you let our listeners know about your military service?
Oh, military service. Well, I'm a veteran of the Vietnam era. I was in from 1969 to 1971, and just 2 years. Got out with an honorable discharge. Um, I did get a chance to travel Europe and places like that. I did not go to Vietnam, although I lost a few friends in Vietnam. And my father was a World War II veteran. My grandfather was a World War I veteran. And now I have two grandsons that are going into the Navy, one in April and one in May. So we have some veterans or some military people in our family, and I'm very proud to be a veteran.
Thank you so much for your service.
Thanks, Nicole.
What another thing I wanted to say is Marty and I have known each other for a couple decades at least, I know. And
Yeah.
and I've had the privilege of being photographed by him through a Divine Expressions dance ministry. Well, now Marty knows that I'm a certified travel agent. So let's transition you into, even though you've traveled with the military, let's say this is, no time, no special orders, no special assignment. Where would you travel? What would you do? And what do you feel would be your purpose there?
Well, that's a good point that you brought up because my point of view about my life is more than just photography. I I'm actually working on a book on marriage, and my point of view is I'm tired of seeing all the divorces. So because I focus on getting my marriage better, it's enabled me to see some things. And I don't want to be picking on any one person in particular, but sometimes men do not work hard enough to maintain a marriage with a wife who's ever changing. And I heard a story one time that the difference between men and women from a comedian, and he said, men, we have brown shoes, black shoes, and tennis shoes in our closets, and women have names for their shoes. Thus, the difference right off the bat. And although I sit across the room, the table from couples who I meet with about photographing their wedding, I find that she will talk her story and his eyes will tell me the truth of what he's all about. And the idea behind my book is that men need to treat their ladies better and women need to choose better when getting a husband. So despite the fact that photography is a tool being used, my personal point of view is let's strengthen these marriages. So whenever I get a chance, I try to encourage couples in their marriage, and I really try to encourage the guy to be patient with her, get to know her, and she's not going to let you know everything about her. Her heart's got to be open, and you got to have the can opener to pry it open to find out what's inside there. And you do that with love. You don't do that by demand, and you don't do that by dictatorship. It takes a very kind, loving man to open her heart to a trust level. So that's more my personal point of view. The photography is just a tool to allows me to share my personal point of view, and I try to keep it very balanced. So,
This is one thing I appreciate about your versatility because in my mind I was looking for a specific place and time, and you traveled me through a relationship, which is I started thinking in my head, this is why I appreciate him so much.
oh,
I like to get to know the business owners that I work with, personally as well as professionally. So my next question would be is, do you have a favorite quote?
I have one, and it's my favorite one. I use a lot whenever I'm talking to especially new businesses or anybody, including my wife when she started doing storage units. I said, "Who told you can't do that?" That's basically it, and it's a very simple phrase. Is People defeat themselves because they hear voices in their head all the time. Oh, that's too big. Oh, I said, well, who told you can't do that? That wasn't from God. And that wasn't from uh, who's sitting around there telling you you'll never mount anything. I said, only if you believe that stuff. So I will tell anybody, who told you you can't do that? It's just like what you're doing now, Nicole, and you're doing it really well, and you're not going to let anybody defeat you. It's the same with me. People told me, I will tell you this, when I first started in the photography, I met with a marketing guy, and he said to me, I don't know why you want a marketing guy because photographers don't make very much money. And I just, in my own mind, I said, well, I don't want him to be my marketing guy because he doesn't have a dream. So I'm always encouraging people that you can strive to anything that you want. If your heart is in it and you focus, you can do anything you want to do. So who told you you can't do that is one of my favorite phrases to tell people.
We're already wrapping up the session, but before we go, we're celebrating heart health. Not just your physical heart, but your mental heart. And we wanted to know, are there certain people throughout your professional and personal journey you would like to say thank you for where you are and the things that you're participating in?
Well, first off, I have to thank God for giving me the opportunity and keeping my health in check. I feel like a young man. I don't ever feel like my age, and I have a ton of energy. I have to thank my wife, who believes in me and has seen me happier than she's ever seen me when I was in the corporate world. I have to thank a church that has supported me too and believed in me, allowed me to serve God. I want to thank several people. There's so many people to name, but I want to thank Tony, who is my marketing guy, and and Mike, another marketing guy that we have. I have to thank Crystal, who is helping me in business. Uh, there's just so many people, and I can give you first and last names too if you want, but um, I just have to say those people in business have helped me get better. But I want to thank God for helping me get more focused and more balanced. Um, so I have to say I have a lot of joy in what I do, and I will never give it up unless God says it's time. So retirement is not in my vocabulary right at this point.
You so remind me of my dad when you said that. I want to thank you so much for interviewing with us, listeners. Stay tuned for part two. We're going to dive in deeper with Marty and being a professional photographer as well as a business owner. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions for us, because next month we're actually going to be doing a Midwest staycation in Indy. So if you're looking to join us for one of our travel adventures as a certified travel agent or chief artisan trainer, be sure to drop me an email at toctown14 at gmail.com. But stay tuned, we have part two coming up